This is the Dr. Paul Show, a woman's personal guide to understanding men. And now, here is Dr. Paul.
Your cheating heart will make you weep. You'll cry and cry and
welcome to the Dr. Paul Show. Surprise! Your cheating heart. Now, we're not going to be political here or mention anybody's name. In fact, I cannot mention somebody's name. That just can't be done. But I'm going to let you know this. Somebody's cheating heart let him down. Now, who would that possibly be? Well, there was a candidate for president. Shocking. Shocking indeed. Now, the question with Dr. Paul is this, and see if you can answer it. And I'm even going to ask my producer, Mike, if he can answer it when we get to that question. Why did a woman who allegedly, we're going to use allegedly in all of these cases now, had an affair with this particular individual come forward? Why, Mike, would you think that would be the case?
I don't know, because she might have found out he was messing around with someone else, or maybe someone else's.
No,
maybe. Yeah.
Mike, you're a genius. I love it. That's right, exactly. Remember, this woman did not come forward until there were certain alleged results of him having made passes at ladies 2, 3, 4, and on it goes. I don't know how many. Allegedly, again, I have to use the term allegedly. Nothing happened until she found out. She said nothing for 14 years, which means that Shakespeare is right again. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Are you listening, guys? Are you listening really well? Here's a guy that was a candidate, good, bad, or indifferent, for the highest office in the land. And finally, after so many alleged contacts, another woman comes forward and said, hey, ladies, you think you did it. I've had, allegedly, a 14-year affair with this guy. Oh, my. Now, the next scene is even better. He went home to his wife. Ooh. That had to hurt. I mean, that just... Can you imagine that? We had Representative Weiner out there doing something ridiculous, and others. You know, I mean, it goes on and on. Why these guys do this is beyond my comprehension. You're right there where you may have an opportunity of a lifetime, not that you would or wouldn't, but you may have, and you do it all in by your carnal activities. Like that, Mike? Carnal activities?
Yeah.
How carnal can you get? Okay,
yes.
So this is what happens. We have someone who made himself impossible and made his life impossible, allegedly, by having these various situations. But the worst of all worlds is when the spouse finds out. Doesn't have to just be the wife. It can certainly be the husband that finds out. Bad idea. New movie out called Shame. Interesting movie, all about sexual addiction. If there's such a thing, I think we all have a certain level of sex addiction, but it all depends on how we react to it for whatever reason. Whole different topic. But I'm not certain that in these cases of these executive type individuals or political type individuals that it's so much a matter of sexual addiction as it is an ego satisfaction. And it goes for women too. It goes both ways. So it's an ego thing in large part. Look who I am. Look at me. Oftentimes narcissistic. And so it goes. All right. You're probably asking yourself, why does Dr. Paul not have his smoking jacket on tonight? His smoking jacket. Not that I smoke, but it's a smoking jacket. Because Hugh Hefner came in town. You know, we're in the Tampa Bay area here. We're broadcasting live out of here. And he needed a jacket tonight. So I said, hey, Hugh, Go for it. Here it is, baby. No problem. He appreciates that. Well, it's warmer here than it is in Chicago, right? By the way, those of you who are in Little Rock, hope that everyone survived well, the weather you've had out there. I know you're listening tonight, watching it on the internet, so I understand it's going to get worse out there. It's going to get cold here. Don't feel badly. We've got a great guest tonight, and I think I'm going to have to introduce her maybe about an hour. How to find the love of your life during the holidays. Can't beat that. So she's going to tell us how that's being done. And not only are you going to find the love of your life during the holidays, but with her 6-step program, you're going to be able to find the love of your life no matter when. Hang in there. I'm going to go to some emails. Good ones this week. This one's from out of the country. I thought it warranted responding to. I have a question for the love doctor. Dear Dr. Paul, I need advice. I am a very shy male, and I'm not so good in speaking English. I have so much fear that I will be wrong in speaking, and other people will watch me that sometimes I feel so badly about myself. I always try to escape from people, and as a health worker, I need to speak most of the time with patients. Please, if you can help me. Yes, I can, as a matter of fact, and that's why I selected this letter. I oftentimes don't read the letter until I'm on the air with them, but my producer pointed this out to me, and I think this one has a need for an answer. Many of us did not have English as our first language, even though we may have been born in this country. Our first language may not have been English. But do you know the common denominator? A smile. If I go to Bangkok and I talk with people and we may not understand each other perfectly, we can smile, nod as if you understand. You may not understand it. Give them the impression that you do. I mean, if it's an emergency situation and you're working in the healthcare field, that may be a little different. But you make them feel good about themselves, and you can smile and nod. Okay, the words, that word okay is universal. They use it everywhere I've been. Europe, Southeast Asia. I don't care if it's Vietnam or Thailand or wherever it may be. The okay is used universally. There's a term people understand, yes. Oftentimes, shake your yes, no, they understand that. And I know that's basic, but the most important thing, as I said up front, is to smile. Make people feel good that are around you. You come in, they say in some certain language, good morning, you smile, You may not know exactly what they've said, but you have acknowledged them with a warm smile, a warmth that they can appreciate. They know that's universal as well. Yeah, you have to kind of go through the language. Oftentimes, and you've said here that you feel shy, that shyness makes people defensive because they feel that you're uncomfortable. You don't want to feel uncomfortable. You don't want to communicate that to them. You want to feel comfortable in yourself, okay? And when you do that, you then will make others feel comfortable as well. All right, work on the language a little bit. I see that you're working at it. Obviously, you can spell, and you do communicate your meaning. Remember, the most important thing is to communicate your meaning. I was at an event where I met with someone, and someone else was sitting there criticizing, and said to this woman, by the way, criticizing another woman, and said, well, that's not what he's asking you. And I said, wait, time out. I said, I understand. She is communicating her meaning, and I taught a course on the adult level for speakers of other languages, okay? Speakers of other languages. So they were learning English for speakers of other languages, ESOL. You probably have a course like that in your community. I would suggest that you go to it, brush up a little bit, and that will help you a lot. Typically, it's an adult course, oftentimes taught in a high school situation for adult evening courses. Try that out, and that might help you as well. Okay? All right, already I see it, and I've heard it before. Yes, my initials are PRV, as in Perv, Paul Robert Vhorn. Dr. Paul's initials are Perv. And I know I'm going to get more emails on this since I don't have the smoking jacket on, and it's monogrammed on all my shirts. So at least I can say that I am a Perv legitimately. It's written right there. Next letter. I'm going to do with these? What am I going to do with these fans, these viewers and listeners? I don't know. Mike's shaking his head in there. What are you thinking, Doc? What are you thinking? I have a question for the Love Doctor. I need advice. Hi, my name is blank. We don't use names. I have a question about approaching men. I am only 22. I am in no particular rush to find someone, but I am interested in a guy. Okay. I am generally known to be shy by most people. If this guy, decides to greet me with a hello from a distance, but I look away, how do you let them know that I don't dislike them? That's exactly what they're going to feel. If they say hello and you go, they're going to feel rejection. Even though you may not mean it, that's the way it comes across. Even if you give them a little, one of those, that'll work. You sit from a distance, smile, that works. But if you just look away because you're shy, you make them feel like you're rejecting them. So you kind of answered your question there, but let's continue. That is, how can I at least show him I am open when I have the opportunity? Well, I just explained it. Smile back, give a little wave, whatever. Let him know that, hey, I acknowledge the fact that you've acknowledged me. Matter of basic courtesy. All right. I think he assumes either I am a snob, that's possible, or I'm just not interested, which is more likely. Is it worth it if he has already given up? Well, don't be so sure he's given up. I'm one of those people who make things happen, and I know that you are too. When you see him next, take the letter to him. Take this email and say, I need to share something with you. I've noticed that you responded to me. I wrote this to Dr. Paul. And here's I'm not a snob. Just tell him. And this letter tells it all. I'm shy, and I know it's going to be tough for you to do that, but you got the letter in hand. So what you're saying is I can validate what I'm telling you because I've already asked for help from a relationship expert, Dr. Paul. And here's what he said. This probably is going to be on YouTube, and you can have him take a look at it. Even if you just email him and say, hey, watch YouTube, Dr. Paul, here's a letter that I sent, and I think maybe you ought to take a look at it because it's all about you. By this time, I imagine you happen to have his email or you can message him. In any event, that's the direction to take. It doesn't cost you one dime, and it's only going to be in your best interest. The worst thing about this type of action is that if you start it, you're going to continue that same action over and over, and you're going to continue making people feel rejection by you, although that's not your intent. That's what you're doing. And if you get out of that cycle, out of that mold, out of that mode, then you're going to be more appreciative of the actions and reactions that you get. Okay? All right, remember that. When we start an activity, oftentimes we continue that activity to our disadvantage. So you want to stop that activity now, change it around, turn around and say, smile, okay? There used to be a show long ago when I was a kid called Smile on Candid Camera, right? Well, smile, because consider somebody's taking a picture of you. Not physically, but here, they're taking a picture of you. One they're going to remember. And you never get a second chance to make a first impression, do you? All right, good. We have one more coming up before we go to a break, and we're going to read this one before we go to our fantastic guest. I'm sure you're going to enjoy that conversation. A lot of help for you, especially around the holidays. All right, here's one. I have a question for the Love Doctor. Dear Dr. Paul, I have a difficult problem. Trust. Oops. You see, I'm currently dating. We've been dating for about a month now. Okay. And I'm constantly expecting him to suddenly quit the relationship or cheat on me. If you expect him, I haven't read this, but I'm reading it now, first time. If you expect him to cheat on you, you're going to communicate that subconsciously to him, and guess what? He's going to do it. All right, probably had this happen in the past. Yes, I'm insecure, okay, but there's a reason. In fact, there are several reasons, and they're all men. I didn't used to have this problem, but after years of having men who suddenly turned off their cell phones and were nowhere to be found, or who went out with guys and ended up with girls, or played numerous tricks and always said, but you just don't trust me. Later, I usually found out that my instincts were right and I shouldn't have trusted them. Okay, once burned, twice cautious. I can certainly understand that. I have been told that I'm codependent, but I've heard that there are many professionals that believe that codependency isn't a true diagnosis, but simply a compilation of many different problems and issues. I don't know what I am besides stressed and worried. Sounds like you are probably a student. It seems like you've done some analysis on this, and that's good. A couple of weeks ago, I went out drinking. Well, that'll work. That'll solve a lot of things. Oh, nice. I am on an antidepressant medication and forgot that I wasn't supposed to mix alcohol with the medicine. Bad idea, right?
They forgot.
She wasn't depressed. That's why.
Wait a minute. Well, then she drank something that makes you depressed. What?
Yeah. Yeah. And it says, I woke up not remembering anything at all. I'm not surprised. But that day while at work, my boyfriend called, left a message on the answering machine telling me that he was ending it with me. I was devastated, but I didn't call him, and he didn't call me for an entire week. Okay, last week out of the blue, he called me, and it turns out that it was all a misunderstanding. I had called him while I wasn't in my right mind, probably in her left mind, okay, and had started accusing him of cheating on me and calling him all sorts of names. Self-defeating. Really self-defeating, self-sabotage. He says that's why he decided to call it quits. We had just started dating, and he didn't need that aggravation. Of course he didn't. Of course, when we pieced all this together, we realized it wasn't me talking that night. We decided to get back together. But I'm still haunted by it all. What do you recommend? I'm always consumed by this worry. Quite frankly, what I recommend is don't do it again. This can truly be suicidal. Do not mix antidepressants with alcohol. That's unless, of course, you've already made your funeral plans. And I'm not kidding, because that can be the end, the bitter end. Truly, don't do it again. I'm glad you wrote this, because this is going to help other people that may have done the same thing. Maybe you're depressed. You went out and said, this is it. I'm going to drink. I've had antidepressants, and that's a very bad combination. You know it. I know it. People say, well, if I die, I die. But here's the thing. You can also go into a stroke mode and sit there and be in a vegetative state for years. You don't want that, do you? Or you're in a stroke mode and you're disabled as a result of having alcohol and antidepressants. Clearly it states on any antidepressant, you can ask your physician, do not drink alcohol with this medication. Okay? That's how it works. All right, we're on the break time right now. We're going to come back with our fabulous guest. I know you're going to want to hear what she has to say. This is Dr. Paul. This is Dr. Paul Show. We shall return.